Today we are going to be studying. Today we are going to be studying ensembles. Today's topic is really wonderful topic. It is the uh, best topic that you will ever study in statistical mechanics. But it is the most important topic. It is not the best topic, but it is the most important topic as if that it gives you the weapons. Today we are going to learn the weapons of statistical mechanics. To do the statistical mechanics, you need to understand those weapons, that how to use them, how will you use those weapons. If you know how to use those weapons, then what you can do is you can go and attack the actual problems if you know how to use this basic weapons. So today we are going to do this learning basic weapons session. But before doing that, let's start with a small recap. So today's class is on ensemble, but before doing that, let's start with a small recap of yesterday's class. So day before yesterday, we derived something like this, which was called Liouville's equation. This guy is Joseph Liouville. It was del rho by del t plus Poisson bracket of rho h equal to 0. And this equation, we could not understand it just right away by looking at it, but what we did was we found out that this equation means something else, and those two things that this equation means, we tried to figure it out. First was the conservation of density in phase space. That means if you are moving with those phase points, you will find that the density of the phase points is constant. Density of the phase point is constant, so change in density as if you are moving with phase points is equal to 0. This was the first principle of conservation of density. This was the second principle of conservation of extension in phase space. Just somebody came. Admit. Okay. So yes. Okay. So this was the second example, which was principle of conservation of extension in phase space. What do we mean by extension? We mean the volume or the extension in the phase space, and it was also conserved. So even if the surface enclosing those phase points, it got distorted, it got displaced and it got distorted, but eventually its volume was constant. So this d gamma was constant eventually. I was thinking about it. I could not get in a feeling that how is it happening, that I needed that feeling that how is it happening. So I asked Clement sir, and he provided me with a wonderful analogy that is going on in our nature. So in this analogy, this video is taken from the courtesy of National Geographic YouTube channel. So these are the birds you call mena. Mena jo panchi hota hai, it is mena. Okay. So these are the birds and they are flying. You can consider each of those birds as a point in a phase space. Okay. From next time, try to come on time. Come before time. Don't come after 2:35. If I am giving some time, it means I will admit up till 5 minutes. I won't admit after that from the next class because it disturbs. I don't have any problem with the latecomers until and unless you sign in with your institutional email ID, then I won't have to admit you. Just try to come that way, because if I have to admit you, my focus just loses a little bit. That's what, because you guys are not in front of me as well. So I don't know. Yes. So try to come on time from the next time, from tomorrow's lecture. Yes. So what I was talking is that these birds, you can consider them as a phase points. They are flying in the space. I took this video from the National Geographic. Oh my god. Yes. Now I won't admit anybody. This is the last. Okay. Okay. So yes. Okay. These birds are, we can consider these birds as the phase points, and you can see how they are flying in this video. We will see that how these birds are flying in this phase, in this sky. You can consider the sky as a phase space, these birds as a phase points, and you will see that as these birds fly, their shape, this outer shape, you can see this is the outer shape. This shape will change, but eventually the volume of the birds will remain constant. This is what is going to happen. Okay, this shape will change, but eventually the volume will remain constant. Okay, let me admit the last student. I'm sorry to all of you. I should not admit after 2:35. So from tomorrow onwards, I will not admit. It is strictly either it is your internet is gone, internet is down. Please, either you log in from an institutional email ID or log in or join before 5 minutes. Like when I'm giving time, I'll be admitting 5 minutes from that. So just join in that span. Otherwise, I'll not be admitting. Yes, from tomorrow. Okay. So yes, uh, it's too much. Yes. Huh. So we were talking about this birds. You can consider them as a phase points, and you can see eventually that as they are flying, you can see that their volume will remain constant even if this shape is distorted. You will see that number of phase points are always conserved because you won't see any bird suddenly dying while flying. So in this example, you won't see number of phase points changing. You will see that volume of this representative points is also constant. Phase space is the complete sky. So some bird can come and some bird can leave from this flock. You will see that also because some point or not all points are moving together always. Some points will come from somewhere else and these. But eventually their density, if you will see from the point of view of camera, if we are seeing from the point of view of camera, if you will see this section, there is zero density right now in this section. So this camera is stationary. These birds are flying. So if you are seeing from the bird's point of view, the density will be constant. And if you are seeing from the camera's point of view, that means you are just standing and watching. It means you are observing. What are you observing? You are observing something called del rho by del t. You are observing this del rho by del t. Just if you are observing at this point, and this will change. But eventually when these birds will fly, if you will see from the bird's point of view, then their density will not change if you will see from the bird's point of view while flying. So let's see this video, simple 2 minutes video. So enjoy this. Yes. You can see the distortions in the phase space. I hope you can see this video. Somebody confirm, please.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So these are the distortions in the phase space. You can think of it like this: distortions in the phase space, phase points. So surface is moving from the one place to the other place. These birds are moving from the one place to other place. The shape might get distorted, and the density in this region, is still zero where the camera is. But now, as you will see, there is some density in this region, some density in this region, some density in this region, and eventually these birds, the density here change. It is del rho by del t. So these birds again moved, density here changed. But if you are moving with the bird, you will find the density is constant around you. If you are moving with the bird, because distance between two birds are more or less constant when birds are flying. So this is an analogy. This is not the real picture, but you can see how those things are changing. So you can see the distortion in phase space. You can see this distortion wonderfully here. The density at the point of camera changes at different times. So del rho by del t is changing according to that Poisson bracket, but density eventually keeps itself to a constant value. So this is the most wonderful example I could ever come across, and it shows how beautifully it shows the Liouville theorem, the two principles of conservation, how beautifully it shows that. Now all the phase points will leave to travel in some other microstates. So let's just bid them adieu. Bye bye phase points. We will be studying our today's topics because you were yesterday's topic. Bye bye phase points. Okay, we just bid adieu to those phase points. Now density here is zero. It was the film by these guys and courtesy National Geographic YouTube channel. You can see these kind of things on YouTube. Okay, so this was the video, and now we are going to be studying ensemble theory. I hope somebody else also joined, so let him or her admit. Okay. Okay. Yes. So with this starts today's topic. It was the yesterday's recap. Now with this starts today's topic. So we are going to be studying ensemble theory. So physical systems, real physical systems. Now just leave those phase points and everything aside. We'll not be, we'll be talking about those things, but it will be really simple talking. So if you didn't understood anything from the last unit, just you know what is a phase space, and just you know that each and every system can be described as a dot on the phase space. It is okay with me for this chapter. This is the 5th chapter of your book. So we are starting that 5th chapter. So any physical system, just like a gas in a box or electron, some electrons you can keep in a tube, and then you can apply magnetic field. So that gives you the amount of spin in electrons, splitting of energies. So electron in this tube, or photons inside a tube, or any particles in any kind of box with electric field, magnetic field, gravitational field, anything. If you need to study that, if you need to study that part, that is called physical system. It will be different in different questions. Now, any physical system can interact with its surroundings in many ways. Either it can exchange its energy, either it can exchange its matter. Particles can also go from here and there, or it can exchange both energy and matter. So after which this, so to understand these kind of systems, what we did was, what this guy, his name is Gibbs. This guy was a chemist. He was not a physicist by nature. He was a chemist. So this Gibbs, he devised a theory of ensemble. He said that what is an ensemble? Collection of ideal, connection of same equivalent systems, where each and every system has same macro state but different micro states. This is the ensemble. Now he designed that you can think of ensemble systems in many ways, but let me talk about three special kinds using which we can solve many problems, or let me say all the problems of the nature, using these only three special kind of ensembles. So ensemble is the collection of systems, and he considered that let us consider not all the kind of collection of systems. Let's consider three types of collection of systems, only special three kind of collection of system. So what is our purpose is, what is our purpose of studying ensemble is that we want to study any physical property of the real system. Let us say it is energy or pressure or number of particles or something. We want to suppose measure pressure of the gas. So we want to study the pressure of the gas. Then what we can do is, we can think so many mental copies of the system. We can measure pressure in each of those systems theoretically, and we can take average of all the values of pressure, and that will give us the pressure in actual system. That is called ensemble average. So this is how we do it. Okay. Now, what is special given by Gibbs is, those systems will interact with each other, but how they will interact, based on how they will interact, he designed three special kind of systems. He called them different ensembles, and those three special kinds are microcanonical, canonical, and grand canonical ensembles. So he told, this guy called Gibbs, he told that let's define a collection of systems. We'll study these guys in deeper. Definitely, we'll study these guys deeper. That is what this chapter is all about. It is just, let me, if I want to give you the simplest example, a simplest explanation. This is the simplest explanation. Microcanonical ensemble is defined by these macroscopic parameters. So these macroscopic parameters: number of particles, volume, and energy of the whole system. So suppose this is the system, and if this system has fixed number of particles, fixed volume, and fixed energy, then this system and its collection of systems, if all of them have the same property, then they are called, this ensemble is called in the state of microcanonical ensemble. These systems do not exchange anything with each other, because if you collect, we'll study about these points in detail as we'll move along. So these canonical ensembles is defined by NVT, and these guys exchanges energy with each other. This grand canonical ensemble is defined by mu-VT. They exchanges energy and particle with each other. If you don't understand anything, just no problem. Just wait for 5 more minutes. You will understand microcanonical ensemble. Okay. So Gibbs gave this 3 different cases where you could actually visualize ensembles, 3 different kind of cases. Let's go with the microcanonical ensemble at the first place. Okay, let's go with the microcanonical ensemble at the first place. It is the simplest ensemble in some aspects. So you will see this. Okay, what is an ensemble? I again and again want to repeat, it is the collection of states, collection of systems. Ensemble means collection of systems. All the systems are identical. It means all of those systems has same macroscopic property but different microscopic properties. So ensemble is collection of states in the simplest language. Okay, so we are studying one particular type of ensemble which is called microcanonical ensemble, and it is the simplest one of all. Now, what is a microcanonical ensemble? Let's talk about this. So if this is the actual system, and this actual system has some number of particles, some specific volume, and some specific energy, then what you can do is you can consider infinitely many mental copies of that system, and you can put all those systems together. You can just touch, uh, make those systems touch each other, and that all the systems eventually has same macroscopic parameters, because that is what the ensemble means, same macroscopic parameters. Different microscopic states will be there for different systems. This system is identical with this system, this system, this system, this system. All of these are different systems, but they are not actual systems. They are just mental copies of this actual system. So this is an ensemble of systems. This is a real picture of ensemble of systems. So there are so many systems. You can consider them infinitely many, but I just represented a few. Okay. Now for each system, N, V, and E are fixed. So what is N? Number of particles in that system, volume of this system, and energy of the system is fixed. So for each system, if number of particles are fixed, then we call this system if all of these three guys are constant, then we call these systems closed isolated system. Now let me start again. So what is our purpose? We are understanding what is an ensemble, what is microcanonical ensemble, and in this we created so many mental copies of the same system. We connected all those mental copies, but with the condition that this connection, due to this connection, just as you can take this glass of water with this calculator, these two are different systems, but suppose that this is also the same kind of glass of water, you just connected both of them. But the condition was, after connecting, that number of particles in this system should be equal to number of particles in this system. Volume of this system should be equal to volume of this system, and energy of this system should be equal to energy of this system. So since energy of each and every individual systems cannot change and number of particles cannot change, these walls between these systems, the walls between these systems that we imagine, this is all our imagination. Okay, so imagination to solve some problems. Which kind of problems? We'll talk about it as we'll move along, but to solve some problems of real life. So this is our imagination, and these walls have to be impermeable. Walls have to be impermeable. These walls have to be rigid walls. By impermeable, what do I mean? No particles are permitted from here to there. So अगर इधर कोई particle होगा, वो इधर नहीं जा पाएगा, इधर से particle इधर नहीं जा पाएगा. Eventually, in each block, each system, the number of particles will be constant. So these walls are impermeable, these walls are rigid, and these walls are non-conducting. So these walls are not even conducting the energy. So energy is eventually constant in each of this individual system. So you can think of this actual system as some kind of thermos flask. Thermos flask में आप अगर पानी भर दो, गर्म है तो वो गर्म ही रहेगा, उसी एनर्जी से पानी रहेगा अंदर, सेम वॉल्यूम रहेगा उस फ्लास्क का, और नंबर ऑफ पार्टिकल्स विल आल्सो बी सेम. इफ यू कंसीडर आइडियल थर्मोस फ्लास्क, आइडियल मतलब जिसमें एक्चुअल में एनर्जी कभी खत्म ही नहीं होगा, दिस काइंड ऑफ, यू कैन टेक दिस काइंड ऑफ एनालॉजी. सो माइक्रोकैनोनिकल एंसेंबल मींस आपने बहुत सारे सिस्टम्स को ऐसे टच करवा के रखा है, बट वॉल्स बिटवीन देम आर इम्परमिएबल, रिजिड एंड नॉन कंडक्टिंग. तो पार्टिकल का फ्लो नहीं होगा, कुछ भी नहीं होगा. नाउ आप हर एक सिस्टम में जा जाके जो भी प्रॉपर्टी आपको मेजर करना है, सपोज प्रेशर, then you measure pressure from each of the systems, and then you take average of all the values of pressure you obtained, and you get the actual value of pressure this system can have. So this is what the idea is. Okay, so these walls are impermeable, rigid, and non-conducting, and this systems, this ensemble consists of closed system, which are closed, definitely no particles are going in and out. They are isolated systems, so no energy can go in and out, and rigid walls. So these systems are, each and every systems are closed, isolated. NV and E are fixed for each system of microcanonical ensemble. Now, let's talk about this. So these things are okay. Now, let's take the simplest case of microcanonical ensemble. Suppose that you have a simple harmonic oscillator. With energy E, capital E, with energy capital E. If you have the simple harmonic oscillator with energy capital E, then it will be oscillating till the world ends. it will be oscillating, the simple harmonic oscillator oscillating till the world ends. We are assuming that the harmonic oscillator is placed inside a closed isolated system, so it is not losing its energy. So it is just oscillating and oscillating and oscillating till this world will end. So this simple harmonic oscillator with energy E can be plotted as an ellipse on the phase space. So this is Q, this is P, and the simple harmonic oscillator can be plotted on an ellipse as an ellipse. And I gave you this question yesterday, so I hope you know that it is an ellipse. Okay, the phase point trajectory is an ellipse, and if you don't, if you just tried that question and could not do it, just contact me after the class or stay after the class. We'll be discussing those questions. Okay, so these phase points on the constant energy so all the points corresponding to the phase of simple harmonic oscillator are on the constant energy hypersurface. This surface is called hypersurface. For 2-dimension it is surface, but for multi-dimension it is hypersurface. So all the phase points are on this constant energy hypersurface. You won't see any point for this particular system here. You won't see any point for this particular system here. You will never see those points. You will see only these many points for this system. What do I mean by points? That means that if you really have a simple harmonic oscillator, what does it mean? Spring block system. And if you are oscillating, this block is oscillating on a frictionless surface, then whenever you try to find out the microstate of this system, you will find it on any of these points. If this is given complete energy, exact energy, then you will find this system at any time on this ellipse only. You will not find this system's microstate at anywhere else. So all these phase points are on constant energy hypersurface. The energy is not lost by this system. So we can consider many identical copies of this system, and this system will be microcanonical ensemble. Okay, so all these points are on a constant energy hypersurface, and complete isolation of the all these points are on the constant energy hypersurface. Okay, so this is the simple harmonic oscillator of energy E, and we did something like this. Okay, now just as we did this, just let us think for the practical possibility. For practical possibility, you can never have a system in complete isolation. There will be a little bit amount of energy will be shared between the system and the surrounding, though small it will be. So let's take that energy as delta. It is very small, very small. You can never have the system in complete isolation. आप अगर थर्मोस फ्लास्क में पानी भरते हो तो after 12, 14 hours, 24 hours, it will change its temperature or energy. So there is no system which is in complete isolation. So complete isolation is not practical. We must allow the systems to interact with some interaction energy, delta E. This interaction energy can be very small, and it is interacting with what? It is interacting with other systems. So if you are considering microcanonical ensemble, this system is interacting with this system, and this system with a small energy delta E. So this system, all these systems are interacting with each other with a very small energy delta E. So initially we thought that these systems are not interacting, but practically it is not possible. So we are saying that these systems are interacting, but with a very, very small, infinitesimally small energy delta E. They are interacting with this. So all the elements of microcanonical ensemble therefore lie within this part. This is the hypersurface for energy E equal to E. This is the hypersurface for energy E equal to E, and this is the hypersurface for corresponding to energy E plus delta E. You can see that if you just increase the energy, you will increase the ellipse area. If you had seen that, the ellipse area, I gave you the question yesterday. Ellipse area was the product of E and T. So if you increase the E, the area of the ellipse will increase. So outer orbit is of E plus D shell, and all these elements of microcanonical ensembles microstate will lie in this region. So each and every point in this region represents a microstate of microcanonical ensemble of any system. Okay, so each and every point on this cloud, so it makes a thin uniform cloud. It is a very thin cloud, but it makes a thin uniform cloud. And if delta is smaller, actually ideally delta E should tend to 0, but eventually delta is very small, very, very, very small in our theory. So delta E is really small, and all these microstates lie within these area. So this is we are just understanding microcanonical ensemble. We are not going anywhere. We are just understanding that what is our weapon. So in that weapon, these things happen. Now In equilibrium, if the system, just our simple harmonic oscillator, if it is in equilibrium, then it can be at any point because all the microstates are equally likely. So all the microstates are equally likely. So in equilibrium, the system is equally likely to found in any of its accessible microstates. System is equally likely to be found in any of these accessible microstates. And this is called a principle of equal a priori probability. You have learned this principle in previous chapter, I think. It was taught by Clement sir. So each and every microstate of the system is equally probable. You can't tell. जैसे आपके पास अगर सिक्का होता है, if you have a coin, you can toss that coin. You can either have heads or have tails. Both are equally probable. Both are microstate of that coin. एक्चुअल में कॉइन है, कॉइन को आपने उड़ाया, इट कैन बी हेड्स और इट कैन बी टेल्स, both are equally probable. So both are microstates of the system. And if you have a big system also, all the microstates are equally likely. You can't say कि ये microstate ज़्यादा probable है, ये कम probable है. All the microstates are equally likely. And in case of microcanonical ensemble, और अगर इक्विलिब्रियम में कोई भी सिस्टम का हर एक माइक्रोस्टेट इक्वली लाइकली होगा, तो इन द केस ऑफ माइक्रोकैनोनिकल एंसेंबल द स्टेट्स बिटवीन E and E plus delta E are also equally likely. In microcanonical ensemble also this principle of principle of equal a priori probability applies. So all these energy, all the microstates are equally likely. So either you consider this point or this point or this point, each and every point are equally likely. And since they are equally likely, you can, our purpose is to find that let any state of system corresponding to energy Ex be X. So let's say that system can be in a state X जिसके corresponding उस system के पास energy Ex होना चाहिए. So what is the probability that finding the system in that state X, it is given by the probability is constant between this thin uniform cloud and the probability is zero otherwise. So you will either find the system in between E and E plus delta E. So you will either find the system here at all the other points, not between E and E plus delta E. At all the other points, you will never find the system. You will never find the system at all the other points. If you want to find the system at state X, so for all the system, all the states, this probability is same, equal probability. So if you want to find the system in any state X, the probability should be constant and it should be zero otherwise. So for any state, the probability should be same constant. Either it is state X or state Y or state Z, any state in between, the probability should be constant. So what am I saying is, if you have a proper simple harmonic oscillator, its probability to be in any of those microstates is same, equally probable. Okay, according to this microcanonical ensemble, if it is not losing any energy. Yes. So Px is constant for this small region because of equally priori probability, and it is zero otherwise. Where C is the constant whose value we can determine by normalization condition. By normalization condition, what do we mean? Is total probability has to be zero. It means the particle must be in some state. So we just add probabilities of all the states. It should be zero. It should be one. So particle must be in any of the states. So the sigma is over all accessible states. That what do we mean by accessible states? All the states which particles can access. So these are all the accessible states. If you take each and every state probability and add all of those probabilities, the answer should be 1. And this summation is between all these accessible states between the range E and E plus D. Can be written as a single function P of Ex as equal to C delta of E minus Ex. You can write it like this. So this delta of E minus Ex is called Dirac delta function. You have studied this in your electrodynamics. And this C is the same constant that was here. So Dirac delta function, what do you mean by Dirac delta function? It is zero at all the points and suddenly it peaks around E equal to Ex. So it is zero at all other points, but when E equal to Ex, this Dirac delta function peaks, and it peaks to infinity ideally, but this C, this constant C is what keeps it under control. It does not let it to expand to infinity. So this C keeps it under control. This is called normalization constant. And if you want to know the probability, then you can also give it with this number. So this probability is zero. Probability of finding the harmonic oscillator in the state here is zero, here is zero, here is zero, but here it will be there, Here again it is 0, 0, 0. So in this region only you will find the probability. So in that region the Dirac delta function will peak, otherwise it is 0 on both the sides. So this is how you can give the probability of finding a particle in particular state X with energy Ex in microcanonical ensemble. Okay, so till now if you have any doubts, kindly ask.